Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Today I want to show you a pull request that was made that fixed the little issue that we had yesterday at the end of the stream. And then we're going to work with that new component that we made. So we have a new component, a new query, and a new way to do routes that'll save us from having to make so many different components and queries. So we're going to do a few routes with that, and it should work, right? If it works once, then it should work with the other ones. But we'll make sure, and we'll build some of those out. We'll see how we look, and I want to share with you kind of the next stage of this that probably won't work on until later on in the year. But it'd be good to, just get everybody on board and see what you all think about it. So I just had a meeting this morning where we discussed some things for the future of this website that's not even done yet, but we're already thinking about more. So, hey everybody, I see some of you in the live chat. Hey. Alright, Harshit's here. Good. So Harshit is the one that actually made the pull request. So I'm glad that Harshit is here. And that way if I mess things up when I'm trying to describe what he did, he can let me know. I have ngrok running. I'm going to paste that into the live chat now. And I may have to paste it again after a while if we get some more viewers. It looks like I didn't get the stream scheduled until a little bit later today, so not everyone may have gotten the notification, because I'm seeing in the analytics there's not too many people in here yet, and we're missing some people that are usually here. But it looks like at least some of you are getting on the ngrok server. That, if you're not familiar with ngrok, that link will allow you to see in your browser what I have here running locally on my computer. So let's get started, and I am going to first go over that pull request that I was telling you about. So you can see this is what we were trying to get to display yesterday, and it is displaying properly now. So here's how it was done. And you can check out these pull requests in more depth in the repo. So if you check the link in the description for this GitHub repo and you go in there and you look at the latest closed pull requests, the last two that I closed were both from Harshit. So I believe it was whatever the second to the last one was, that was the one. Let's see. All right, Alexi, I see your question. I'll get to it in just a minute. All right, where are we at? Page. Okay, so this is the right component. So you can still see the old way that we were doing queries and some of the other components. If you want to go back and check that out, you can. But here's the latest. So we upgraded to the beta version of Apollo. So this React Apollo. Sorry, I'm just getting myself familiar with what we did. So obviously we're importing query now, which we didn't have before. And some of this we had already worked on before the stream ended yesterday. But so we're bringing in query, and then we're using this query component down here. So we're calling page query, all right, which we made here, right? So here's our page query component, and we can take a variable that's a type and a variable that's the name. All right, so we're passing it this variable type, and that just means the post type. So we have all these different custom post types running in WordPress, and we have GraphQL, the WP GraphQL plugin running. So we want to get the right post type, and that's what we pass in here. And then we pass in the variables, And as name, we're passing in the ID as well, and that will get a certain post of that particular post type. And then Harshit also, has in here, some loading, something to display if there's an error, which is awesome. And if we do get the data back, then we just display it as we were normally doing for most of the components. We're just displaying the base content here. And you see now we have none of the stuff down the bottom that we did have. All of it's moved up in here. I think this is really nice. This is obviously coming from doing it the other way to this way. It looks a little odd to me because I learned the other way first. But trying to just think of this more objectively here, I think the query component is it's much more obvious what's going on here. I don't know, maybe it's just me. You all let me know what you think, but I really like it. We have a query component and we're making a query, and then we're getting the result, and we're doing something with that. I don't know. That makes sense to me. So anyway, that's really cool. Essentially, we have a pretty simple component here, but I suppose if you needed to fill in different places with data, you would just add them all in here. So the query essentially would be kind of a wrapper around your whole component. In this case, we don't really need that for everything. Although, potentially we'll see. Maybe, depending on what we do later on with the site, we might need something like that. But anyway, I like it. I really like that. And yeah, cool. Good job, Harshit. Harshit also did a few other things, so if you want to check that out, go ahead in the repo. I keep forgetting that it's called a repo. So I said it already 3 times, and every time I was like, repo. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to the live chat now before we get started with coding. All right, so Alexi had a question about the style. How did you style the underline in the text field on the search? And so the text field for search, this would be easiest just to see. So when, let's see if we can, is it focus? Yeah, I believe that's it. No, it's not on this element. It's on this one. It's not going to show. I don't know which element it's on now. So one of these elements has, I believe it's the bottom border. Now I can't even remember. Sorry, Alexi. Is that it? It's not the whole LI. Anyway, I'm maybe gonna have to check that out. Oh, Harshit says it's a Material UI component. Oh, you know what, Harshit? Yeah, for some reason I was thinking of the old what's it called? Materialize. I was thinking the old Materialize components and how we did it with that. Yeah, so, but if you wanted to do this on your own with CSS, you could do this and create an underline and then just add, that's probably what, 1 or 2 pixels? It's really thin. And then just on focus, you would have the color change. So I have done that before with just plain CSS. If I need to work on something where I can't import like Materialize or Material UI, then that's usually how I do it. It's not exactly the effect, so let me zoom in here and show. So if you decide to do just the plain CSS underline, it's nice, you don't have to use any JavaScript, but you don't get exactly the same effect. So if you notice here, it's very subtle and fast, but it spreads from the interior to the sides. Even when we click out of it, you see it comes back in. So it's a little bit more involved than just changing it, right? And that's closer. It's been a while since I've looked at the material design documentation, but I believe that this is closer to the way it is supposed to be. So, but it's almost, I mean, it would take somebody who really paid attention to that kind of thing to notice the difference if you were to just put the underline there. Anyway, so hopefully that at least cleared up some of how we did that. Oh, okay. Was it? Tim says he styled the before of the search container. No. Anyway. Yeah, in this case, it's used, the Materialize component is being used, so I'm not exactly sure how that is happening. But I do know how you can get a similar effect with the CSS. All right, cool. John Hansen said that the new way that Harshit set up here is a lot cleaner. So yeah, I definitely agree. Harshit also says that this is bleeding edge, and he had to set up a Babel plugin to get this to work. Okay, so yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, so since this is the beta version, right? So it's not. I guess normally you would want to use stable versions for something in production. I'm okay with this. Number one, like, we still have over a month until we were launching this. So, I mean, it's possible that this stuff could get moved over into a stable release before then. But also, I don't know, I'm a little bit more open to using, the beta version of things. So I guess it'll work out. I hope it'll work out. But I think we've done it before on other projects, so I'm okay with it. Obviously, we're just going to keep, we're going to test everything and make sure that it all works. But hopefully it all works. I really like this solution. And let's get started. I don't know I might need new batteries in my trackpad. I'm just having weird issues right now with my trackpad. So sorry if I seem distracted. That's what's distracting me. I'm trying to test out my trackpad and it just seems like it just keeps cutting out. But I'm not getting a low battery warning or anything. Yeah, it's showing the battery as being fine. That's just really odd. Okay. Well, let's get started then and work with this. Let me remember to set my timer this time. I'm going to pull it over onto this screen so you all can see it as well. And we're going to set this for 25 minutes. I'm going to work on this and then we'll take a break. I'll go back to the live chat. I don't know. We may only do one coding session today. I still have a lot of data to transfer over, and it seems like now that we have this component all worked out, it's going to just be a lot of repetitive things. So it may not be interesting enough to do a lot of coding with. So maybe we'll spend more time on the question and answer today. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, this is all assuming that I don't have errors or anything, which, when does that ever happen? Okay. Let's see what we need. Well, we're going to be working mainly, I suppose, in our server.js file today. Okay. By the way, if you do clone this repository, if you've already cloned it, make sure when you pull in changes that you do install the new dependencies. So we've updated packages yesterday, and Harshit has added things in and made some changes to Babel. So things will not work right unless you do an npm install or just yarn. So make sure you do that. And restart the server if you already have it running. Alright, so let's go right here. Where are we at? Is this the one? I want to find the one that we just used that worked. Was it about? Yeah. So we're going to use this same one as almost, like a template. And let's go in here and set up some more post types. So on my other screen, I'm going to check our WordPress installation just to see what post types I have created. And I don't think that I've imported all the data for all these types. We'll go ahead and make the routes anyway. We'll need to make them at some point, so we may as well make them now. Alright, I do have a route that is about okay, so we have a page for our chapel. So we do, this is a Catholic university, so we have a chapel on campus, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. So we have a whole set of pages just for the chapel and all the things that go on there. So I believe about pages, yeah, it'll be chapel pages. That should be the correct type. Chapel ID, page. Alright, wonderful. And I guess I can check, see if we have data over here. Oh, I didn't actually pull in those pages yet, so we're not going to be able to test that. So let's move on. Let me find one that I know I did have data for. Okay, great. So we also have academics pages. And I need to start thinking about, and if anybody has ideas, let me know, ways to clean this up. This server.js is getting big. I mean, we've done more in server.js when we handle some, like file uploads and different things. So it's gotten messier than this before, but I think that we can definitely clean it up. So we talked about it before, but it's getting to the point now where we could probably benefit from cleaning it up. So let's change chapel to academics. And now I think we can test this. So let me just get the slug of one of these. And if any of you want to see like what I'm doing in WordPress on my other screen, let me know. Really, I'm just copying and pasting some stuff. So it's not a big deal, but I'm definitely willing to put it over on my screen if you all think it would be worth it to see. So when we do this, we do need to restart the server. So let me do that now. I thought we set it up somewhere in some project to where it would automatically restart the server for us if we saved. I'll have to go back and check out, maybe some of the package JSON files in previous projects, because I don't remember exactly which one it was. But since we're doing so many changes to our server.js file, then maybe it might save some time and be worth it. For now, though, let's test this out. So we're going to do academics / we're going to go to the Austria courses offered page. No, nothing. All right, well, it's actually really cool that we didn't get an error. I like that. Let's see if I spelled everything correctly. Academics pages, academic. Okay. That is the slug. Austria courses offered. I wonder. I'm just double checking to see if maybe there was some data and for some reason it's not being displayed. Yeah, it's not being offered. Okay, so what's the problem here? Or what did I say? Offered? I said it's not being shown. Something's wrong. All right. Let's figure this out. I think we have a CSS issue and our data is actually coming through. I'm really glad that I decided to look at that. So if you remember, when we were bringing in this data, we were keeping all of the markup as is from the old database, because that was going to give us a huge advantage in speed. We don't want to keep the markup like that. Ideally, we would clean it all up at some point, but that can be done later after we launch. Unfortunately, sometimes we have weirdness like this that we have to deal with, where content's just not displaying properly. All right. I think I set up. All right, so the way I handled stuff like this in other components is either I change the CSS, or both, or I've set up like a little function that just changes the. What did we do? We ended up doing a regular expression, right? I think, Harshit, you helped out with that. So that was what we did. We did a regular expression that matched up what we were looking for and then changed it. So in this case, we don't want another title tag. So we would change this to some sort of H tag. In fact, let's try to do that now, see if we can get something to show up. Let's try an H2 for this. All right, we're still getting nothing. Let's see. Auto. That's really weird. What's going on? Display none. All right, the root is set to display none. Oh, okay, I see. For some reason, I was setting root to display none for a news.css. That's really weird. All right. So, okay, so we do have something, right? We've changed this to an H2. So we have our tabs. So we have tab content. Okay. And more titles. Yeah, this definitely needs some work. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this content needs cleaned up for sure. Let me look at some other content within the same post type. If it's something that's consistent throughout, then we'll find a way to deal with it a lot. If it's just something that's happening for this one piece of content, then that'll be something that we can manually change or have someone else manually change it. All right, let's see. I saw and Andres. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it looks like Andres says, "Hi, I love your live streams. They're awesome." Thanks for saying that. I really appreciate that. And there's an exclamation point at the end. I probably didn't sound too excited when I say it, but it was there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and saying that. All right, let me find another piece of content here. All right, let's check out the content for online programs. All right, cool. So the online programs content is coming through, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I definitely don't want to leave it just like this, but this is not that bad. All right, great. Cool. So maybe I'll have to take a look more at the structure of some of this content. Oh, sorry, that was a big yawn. Wow, this is like 3 days in a row now. I've just been getting tired right at this point in the day and yawning. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna need to take a look at this. Actually, this might be a good task for someone else to do, like a student worker. I'm not trying to push off all my stuff onto student workers, but at this point, I need to make sure I use my time, very wisely to get everything done before launch. So if there's some task that, seems like it wouldn't take very much, special knowledge of web development to do, then that's a task that I could easily, give to anyone else who can do, basic kind of data entry work. Okay. So that essentially works, right? We're in the sense that we've set up a route and it's pulling in the data. It's utilizing our page component and our page query. That's what we wanted. So let's check out another post type. We have admissions pages now, which we have no content for, but I can at least make the route. And we've confirmed that this route does actually work now. So we've got it to work with about pages and we've got it to work with academics pages. So we should be able to use the same pattern. Admissions pages. And so my kind of strategy for organizing this content now is to go by I guess, I don't even know if it's department. It's not exactly a department, but I'm trying to group things by kind of like larger, you could say department, right? I mean, academics, I guess, isn't, but like chapel ministries, I guess, is what we call that department here. And then we do have an admissions department. So we have certainly faculty departments, but even within like the university, there's staff departments. So we're going to have one for human resources. So actually, I could probably do that as well. So we'll have human resources, which I believe just is using HR. So I think we're just going to keep the HR. And then that way all the URLs will match up. So let's go. Human resources, and we may have some of these already pulled in. Let me double check, see if we can work. Oh, cool, we do have some. So let's try. We have one piece of content, and the slug is strategic approach. So let's see if that works. We're gonna have to restart our server again, unfortunately. I saw Harshit putting some things in the live chat about using NodeMon to auto restart the server. So that's it. That's what we were using before. So I thought that was it, but I wasn't sure. Sometimes when I think something is the thing, I just don't say it for two reasons. One, better to just stay quiet than to look like a fool on a live stream. Also, if I say it, then it's going to be in your mind, and if I say the wrong thing, then I will possibly have misled some of you. So I appreciate when I get that verification from some of you in the live chat. All right, so let's try HR, strategic approach. Yay! All right, so that works. Awesome. And this is so much faster. So if you haven't watched the last week or two of streams, remember for each one of these, we would make, so for every single one that we've just done here, which we've done 4, we would have made not only this, but also a new component and a new query. So, really, really cool. We've already so much time being saved here. It looks like Harshit says there's some other stuff that might save a ton of time. Do type plus pages down. Thinking of server.get type ID. Oh, okay. So Harshit's thinking of a way to save some time. Very cool. Alright, cool. Let me know more of what you're thinking, because I'm not thinking server.get and then type ID. Alright, let me know more of what you're thinking there. Server.get type ID. Haha, Niki says, now go to those pages on the live site, get that endorphin hit because it loads so much faster. Yeah, let's do that because that is going to be really fun. So let's go to HR strategic approach. So we've just gone to it here. You saw how fast that was. franciscan.edu/ Oh, that was really fast for this site, but still just can't compare with this. Now obviously it's running locally, but still so much faster. Awesome. And I think ultimately, it looks nicer too. Even just the basics that we've done here, it just appears more readable to me. Alright, cool. Harshit says, we can make a universal route for this. I saw a repetitive pattern. Alright, that's cool. I'm definitely up for, cutting this down even more. Let's see. Let's look. Human resources, campus security. Did I do a route for campus security yet? No, I didn't, and I don't have the content migrated over for that either, so it's not really a big deal. We can do that route, but I'm really interested though in seeing how we can make this a little easier. So, oh, cool, JavaScript is here. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching, and let's see. Alright, Harshit's saying, can I use teletype yet? Let me open Atom and see if I installed teletype. I thought I had it installed when it first came out. Obviously, I'll probably need to update it if that's the case. Alright, I guess I don't have teletype installed. Alright, Alright, so teletype's installing now on my other screen. We'll see how long that takes. Oh, cool. That was really fast. Let's see. Alright, I'm not learn more. Okay, they have a link to learn more about how to do this. Alright, let me pull over Adam onto my other screen, and so everyone can see it. So I've just installed that, and let's open up add project folder. Let's add projects and Franciscan site. Is that it? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, let's do this. And let's see, we should have a new icon somewhere. Yay, there we go. So it's just show portal works. Send away people to join your portal by sending you portal ID. Maybe I should do this on my other screen because I think I'm going to get a portal ID, and I don't want everybody on the project. Alright, looks like I have to log in at teletype.io. Alright, Harshit, I'm sending you my my code or whatever on Twitter. Alright, there we go. It's sent. And let's open this up. We'll go to our server.js. Alright, so hopefully that'll work for what Harshit's trying to do here. Let me know. I really don't know how this is supposed to work, so maybe we'll see Harshit when he starts to work on this. I'm not sure. Until then, I think my timer's almost up, so I'm going to go back to the, where did I put that timer? Alright, yeah, timer's almost up. So let me go to the live chat now, and I'll go back over here in case Harshit starts doing something with this. Oh, there we go. I can see a little picture of Harshit. Very cool. So I'm going to go to the live chat and answer some questions, and then maybe we'll be able to see what's going on here. Cool. Hey, all right, awesome. So this is Harshit typing right now, This is really cool. It's the first time I've used teletype with Atom, so this is like Google Doc style coding, I suppose. So let's just watch this while I'll scroll through and see if there's any questions I can answer. Okay, cool, Harshit. I see what you had said about NodeMon earlier. That's cool. Maybe I'll have to get that set up. Oh, Nikki, I see you asked earlier about that GraphQL issue. Yeah, check out, Harshit submitted some pull requests. One of them fixed that issue. So if you want to see the code for it, you can check that out. I went over it briefly at the beginning, so if you catch the recording of this, you might be able to see that. Oh, all right. And Harshit says it's PR 67, so pull request 67. All right, so let's check. So Harshit's made a universal route here. So we're doing a server.get, and then we have type and ID. Rendering cache, page, type, and then we're also passing in the type here. You know what, Harshit, this is, will this work with everything? Human resources. This won't work with everything. Yeah, actually, so this will only work with certain types, right? So it's still going to save us some time, but it won't work all the time. So like, for instance, it wouldn't work with this human resources one, right? So we're going to the route HR, but then the type is actually human resources. But with here, it would be HR up here, and then HR pages down here. So I mean, if I really it's possible that maybe I could try to make a lot of things fit into this so we could use it more. Like I could go back and change the WordPress plugin. Let's see, it's our saying for HR, place it above. If it will come first, Express will render it and ignore this. I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we can definitely use this. We just have to make sure that it comes last. So this would work. Let's see what we can get rid of. We could get rid of admissions, academics, chapel, about. So let's get rid of these right now. And now let me restart the server. We'll just test it. I mean, it should work, but always good to test. Alright, that should still work, right? No. No. I didn't flip the order, right? Wait, did I get rid of HR too? I did. Sorry about that. Got rid of too much. Alright, now let's restart this and start it back up. Good thing I checked that and not just assumed that it would work. I was planning on using that pattern of saying like academics pages, admissions pages for a lot of the other different post types that I have to make. So that it should automatically work for a lot of these, which is really awesome. Alright, so let's just hit the back button and just make sure that these are working. So that's academics. So that's now using this. So that just came through here, right? Because we're not actually saying academics anywhere. That came through here and it worked properly. Awesome. We go back another one. Okay, this was the one that had problems. Like the data's there, but there's just some issues with it displaying. Cool. Our about page still works. So you can see we had taken out the about route there, so it's hitting this one. Awesome. Alright, that's really awesome. So unfortunately, because we have to match up how the URLs are on the current site, we're not going to be able to use this for everything. There's just too much variety in how that came through. I mean, it's like I said, I'm going to keep in mind this from now on, and when I make new post types and bring things in, I'll try to follow the same pattern so it works for as many things as I can make it work for. Maybe I could probably switch up some things like HR. The only thing that it's going to be a problem are hyphenated things. So if things are hyphenated, for instance, like campus-security and hyphenated in the URL, I can't bring even if I were to change the post type to campus security pages, it would still be campus-security, and I can't pass in a hyphenated thing. It makes an error with the WP GraphQL plugin, so it has to be camel case. So those are the only ones that absolutely won't work for this. Almost everything else could work, with the exception of, I guess we have minor, but we don't have pages. So some of them just won't make sense to put pages on the end, but we could potentially just to take advantage of using this. For now, I'm not going to worry about changing what we've already done because that's just going to be extra work. We don't need to do it right now. We can do it after the site launches or if we have time and we finish everything else. But from now on, I'm going to try to use this. So thank you very much, Harshit. Since I ended up doing coding on my question time, I'm going to go back to the live chat now and try to answer these questions. Okay. Niki says might need some translation layer between the type and the string passed into render and cache next to type. So yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah, why didn't I just think about that? Yeah, we could do something where if there's a hyphen, it changes it. And I'm sure there's a way that we could also capitalize, the second word as well. Okay, so that is possible. So if something hyphenated, that's not really going to mess us up. Thanks for bringing that up, Niki. It actually seems like, yeah, obviously we can manipulate strings in JavaScript. Like now that you say that, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I think that's a good idea. Let's see. I lost my place in the live chat here. Sorry. Angel's here. Hey, how's it going? Peter says, I've been trying to follow along as much as possible, but missed a lot of the beginning streams. What's server.js? Okay, so our server.js file we're using Node.js, which is JavaScript running on the server side. Sorry if you know all this. I'm just like explaining as if, you know, it's somebody that doesn't know everything. So please don't take it personally. So it's JavaScript running on the server. So right now what we're doing is we're listening for requests, and then we're doing something based on that. So if we get a GET request to a certain route, we're going to do something. And what we're doing here is we're caching that request, and then we're rendering it, or reverse that, right? But we're sending it to the component. That's the page component, so page.js, and then we're sending some variables. So we're sending the ID, which is passed in here, and we're sending the string human resources. We actually worked on another way to do this. That's a better way here. This one's a little bit easier though for me to explain because there are less variables going on. So that's all we're really doing in this section of our server.js file. We're just making sure that when a user comes to the site to a certain URL, the right components with the right information get sent back to that user, so the right thing renders on the screen. Let me know if that explanation was okay, if you need me to explain some more. All right, Rook says, make a translation object, pull the corresponding value from the key and pass that into the type and render and cache. Then everything fits in the universal route. You do use a translation object though. Okay, Harshit says, this will not hurt you, just have to follow a post type naming convention. Niki says, you can make it default to the way it's working now by using a logical or operator. Just thinking out loud here, it will work, right? Harshit says, make route for that one. That also fits in that method, the hyphenated ones. Okay, cool. So Niki and Harshit basically are still talking about these routes. Essentially, there is a better way to do all this to cut down on the total amount of routes. So again, I'm going to say, and I think they were saying a lot of this before I said this before, but I'm going to say for now, everything that's there is going to stay there. Everything new that we add on, I'm going to try to fit either into this route or into another like universal route. So it's universal-ish, right? So it doesn't work everywhere. We're either going to do that, or we're going to have some type, like Niki was saying, of translation, so that basically the type that gets passed in here gets transformed before it gets passed in here. Okay, Harshit, I see what you're saying about the JavaScript.af stuff. Yeah, I'll make you a maintainer, and you can like message me about that too on Twitter or whatever, and we can work all that out. Peter says, okay, cool. Definitely need to jump into some Node.js soon. Currently doing Codecademy Pro intensive course for building web apps using React, so I would guess Node would be good to learn next. Yeah, definitely. I really like using Node with React. I know you can use React with other stuff, but Node just seems so natural since you're already using JavaScript. Like, I don't know. I figure, like, why not use full stack JavaScript if you're making web apps, right? Like, no sense bringing another language in. To me, that just complicates things more. Unless there's some really good reason why you ought to use another language, then just keep it simple with just one. So I think Node is great. Okay. All right. Well, I've gotten to the bottom of the live chat here, and so I know we only really did one like coding session, but we're already coming up on an hour of the live stream. So I kind of went over into a little longer than a 25-minute session. So I think I'm going to wrap things up here. Anhil says, how can I help with the javascript.af repo? Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the javascript.af thing here because it's not like, well, number one, I'm at work, and the javascript.af is a side project thing. But the other thing is, too, like freeCodeCamp is nonprofit, so I don't want to bring something in that potentially will end up being for-profit into here. So anybody that's interested in javascript.af, check out my GitHub. So Jesse R. Weigel, I think, is my GitHub. Check it out. You can bring up issues and things in there, and we can just discuss it. If we get a lot of people involved, maybe we can find out a better way to communicate. But I think for now, GitHub issues will work fine. So right now I have two repos. JavaScript-AF is one for the front end. And then we had JavaScript AF API, which I don't think we're going to be using for back-end stuff because I think we're going to use Firebase. So we may just be using the one. So go ahead and check out the repo, open an issue if you have questions, or if you just want to let me know, like, hey, I want to work on this. That's cool. And let's see. Yeah, right now it's really bare, but we will be doing some things. So basically, something that would be very helpful right now is JavaScripter has built out like front end all the design, but it's not all Reactified yet, right? So that needs to be changed into React components on the repository that resides on my GitHub profile, so my account. So maybe we could get something going. Maybe I'll make an issue or something with all the relevant information of bringing things over, and then if you would like to help, you can just pick some piece of the UI to turn it into a component. And I guess we'll go from there. So let's see. I think that's it. All right. Okay, cool. So I had some other things come up in the live chat, but it's all JavaScript AF things. So like I said, just message me on Twitter or something about that, or put it in the issues in the repo. Let's see. Nirev says, hello, I am new to JavaScript. I want to learn JavaScript from scratch and want to clear all fundamentals. Any suggestions? You could check out, freeCodeCamp, their curriculum will help, their exercises, so freeCodeCamp.org. If you like books, there's a book series called You Don't Know JS, and you can read it for free on GitHub. So if you just search You Don't Know JS GitHub, it'll be probably the first thing that comes up. You could read through those. Otherwise, like if you prefer videos, I mean, there are a ton of good videos, but in particular, Bo has a whole series of introductory JavaScript and more advanced JavaScript videos here on the freeCodeCamp channel. So, check those out if you can. Of course, I'm sure there's probably an audiobook version of You Don't Know JS as well, if you prefer that. But between those resources, that'll be a good foundation for you. So if anyone else has any suggestions, please put them in the live chat there for Nirav. Oh, cool. Harshit's talking about using styled components. Nikki says definitely want to learn about styled components, or definitely want to help. Awesome. Harsh saying we can't use jQuery. Yeah, we don't want to use jQuery for React for sure. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up here. If we want to continue the JavaScript AF conversation somewhere else, that's cool. Maybe I'll open some issues on GitHub just to get everything straight. And I'm trying to think, we can... Where else can we talk? We do have the freeCodeCamp Slack that we've created for the live chats. I haven't actually checked into that Slack channel in a while, but we can also start a channel on there and talk about it more if you want. So anyway, let me know. You all know how to get a hold of me. All my social media stuff is out there. So if anybody's interested in the project, let me know somehow, and we'll get it. Harshit says a getter room would be good. Yeah, a getter room would be great as well. So yeah, we'll figure out some better way of talking about this, and then where we can all talk, as a group, I think would be good. All right, so I'm going to wrap things up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm not sure what we'll be working on. I'll try to think of something more exciting than just doing the same thing here, and maybe we can do some more work on the homepage and get that nicer. I'd love to get that to a point where it really looks good and we can start showing it off to people. All right, cool. Until then, have a great day.